This Larry Carlton was a famous singer, and there was a story about him where he got attacked by robbers or something, and he had damaged his vocal cords, and they were afraid he may never sing again. That's another autograph from Smokey Robinson. I would love to read this one to you. He wrote, "To Isaac, believe me, you belong in the B record books for being the best B-man there has ever been. God bless you, Smokey Robinson." And on the bottom he wrote, "P.S. Be careful, our bees hate to see you coming." This was a famous musician. I don't know what happened to him. This was another actor that starred in cowboy movies. This one here is Andy Granatelli, Mr. 500, STP oil treatment. This here is Paul. Paul was dating Miriam Ross, Happy Days' mom, Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. C on Happy Days. And those were very good days for Miriam. And I am close to her. She would tell me how happy she is. Paul here did a commercial on TV. One night late, I'm watching, and he's sitting on a bus bench in a park next to his grandson. And in the commercial, he asked his grandson about sex. Says, "Do you know about this stuff? Do you know you gotta use protection?" The grandson said, "Oh yes, Grandpa, I know all about that." And Paul here asked the grandson, "Do you have condoms?" And the grandson said, "Yes, Grandpa." Paul turned around to the grandson and said, "Do you have one for me?" This here is William Conrad. William Conrad had the show on TV, the series Cannon. Next to him is George Fetterman. This guy was the right-hand man to Groucho Marx on the television when they were doing the show You Bet Your Life. I did his house, and at that time, he was advertising for a bank, Home Savings. They would show a little bit of scenes in the bank, and they would show a customer wanting to borrow money, and he would walk to the camera and say, "It's people like Mrs. Garcia who make home savings over $1 billion strong." He wrote on my autograph, "It's people like Isaac who make All Valley Honey and Bee over $1 billion bees strong." Next to him was Ed Asner, one of my greatest actors on television. This here was Ken Berry. Ken Berry was a famous dancer, and he passed away a couple of years ago. He used to be the guy for a shoe store in Los Angeles called Kenny's Shoes. He would do a dance, and he would point to the sign, Kenny's Shoes. Next to him is Weird Al Yankovic. He wrote to Isaac the Bee-Man, "Our beehive was a weird experience." Weird Al Yankovic.